also have Luke Kennard. That's one of my biggest surprises that he didn't make it. He had a great year last year.
Yeah, I mean, Luke Kennard obviously not only had a great year last year, but he's on a really good team this year. And that's something that typically we put a lot of value in because we
Yep,
know the contributions they make are likely going to add to wins or losses depending on what they do. He's going to play in big moments. He's going to have minutes to play. And yeah, he's actually misses our top 25, which is going to surprise a lot of people, I feel.
for me, the one of the biggest reasons why he didn't get into the top 25 was whenever you're looking at the point totals of all the players on that Clippers team, it just it doesn't add up for him to get 16 per game again next year. Considering you're going to get your 20 to 25 from George, you're going to get your 25 from Leonard, you're going to get your 15 to 20 from Lou Williams. On top of that, you have other players like Morris, who's a very good candidate to get over 15 points per game. Ibaka will get over 15 points per game, very likely. There's a lot of guys in that team that can score.
Yeah,
I don't know if Kennard gets 15 again next year.
Yeah, but I mean, with that being said, we spoke about it off air. The goal with getting Kennard, obviously, they got rid of Shamit. You were
Yep,
replacing him, but at the same time, they got rid of Shamit because they felt like they had a shot at a better player with Luke Kennard, where they already had 10 points per game for Landry Shamit. To say that Luke Kennard can't get five more than him, might play a couple more minutes. If guys go down, he's going to play bigger minutes than Shamit was, and he's so
definitely.
yeah, and he's so efficient too. He's one of the top 3-point shooters to shooting guard, 39%, actually 39.9, just under 40, 80.8.
Just round up.
Exactly. Same thing with free throw percentage. If you round up, he's at 90.893. Ninth in assists among shooting guards as well. He moves the ball really well. And just, I guess, on the defensive end, he's not the greatest. But like other than that, like we said, he's going to contribute to this team. Like you alluded to, obviously there's a possibility that his production could go down a bit based on how deep that team is. But as long as he's doing what I think he will, I think he probably deserved a spot in the 25. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a lot better than any of the players ahead of him. He might not even be better than any of the players ahead of him. He just might have a better year than a couple guys ahead of him.
For that's a big thing for why he scored so much last year was he was one of the main guys in that Pistons team. That team wasn't really going anywhere. Blake Griffin, as we talked about before, played his way out of a top 10 power forward position. That team was fairly miserable. Blake Griffin had the worst year of his career. You had Derrick Rose, who was essentially your leading scorer and your best player. That the Kennard was in a position where if he was given the shots, he was given the opportunity, and he did fairly well. He did very well. With that being said, every winning team, as long as you have a couple of very, very top of the line players like the Clippers have in George and Leonard, you don't need Kennard to play like a top 25 player. You just need him to play like a reliable bench threat and to take the minutes if anyone gets injured. If anyone gets injured, then yes, I think he'll actually make our top 25 because as he showed last year, whenever other players get injuries, he takes advantage of those opportunities. But given what that team is right now, if everyone stays healthy, then all they need is a role player, and that's the role he's going to play.
Yeah, I mean, in an ideal world, obviously it's not the same in terms of the coach, the management that's there right now. But in an ideal world, they bring him in to essentially be what JJ Redick used to be for them, right? Where they had a lot of
Yep.
other good guys with Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, and Blake Griffin, and JJ was just what they needed in terms of being an efficient shooter. So, like I said, in an ideal world, they have him, and it wouldn't be a surprise if they move at least one of Patrick Beverly, Reggie Jackson, or Lou Williams at some point. I'd say the most unlikely to move is Beverly because he's so different than a guy like
Yeah.
Kennard. But to
Defensively.
exactly, but to say they might not trade Lou Williams, I mean, they might get something decent in return. And with Kennard, they obviously, like you said, have the depth of if George is starting at shooting guard, we'll obviously see him later on this list, so we're anticipating he will. That even if he goes down, Kennard could be the starter. But coming off the bench, he's like we said, a great JJ Redick replacement. Move up to George, a small forward at that time. Kawhi goes down to power forward for a bit of the game, and you have a nice lineup there too.
Yeah, no, they're going to be in a good spot this year. Everyone keeps talking about how the Lakers are just going to dominate the Clippers next year. The Clippers do things differently than the Lakers. The Lakers dominate at certain aspects, but the Clippers will be a good team as well.
Absolutely. And who did we have? I think who